What's up, Warriors? Welcome back to another episode of the Suburban Warrior podcast. I'm your host, Crissy Pfeiffer, back again with another amazing Suburban Warrior here to share her story and expertise with us. Today, I'm excited to introduce to you Michelle Doan. She's the founder of Emani Vegan Cosmetics, a clean beauty brand powered by advanced Korean beauty technology and created for sensitive, hormonal, and menopausal skin. Born from Vietnamese immigrant roots and shaped by time spent in a Thai refugee camp before building a life in California, Michelle's journey taught her resilience, gratitude, and the power of perspective. Learning to shift from have to get to changed her life and the way she views beauty from the inside out. Since 1998, long before clean beauty became a trend, Emani was born from Michelle's personal journey with cystic acne, sensitive skin, and menopausal skin changes, never knowing which products would help or make her skin worse. She knows what it feels like to read every ingredient, second guess every purchase, and feel caught between the products that are gentle and products that actually work. Michelle's philosophy is simple. Beauty is not perfection. You do not need to be perfect to feel beautiful. It's about feeling comfortable, confident, and at home in your skin. No trends, no compromise, just skincare that works. Welcome to the podcast, Michelle.
Oh, I love that. Thank you so much for the intro.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm so excited to have you here. First of all, I love talking about beauty. I love talking about skincare, especially for women in midlife, because we are just thrown everything at us about what we need, what's going to work, what's the latest and greatest. Literally my head explodes on a daily basis about what I should be doing, to be glowing and anti-aging and what's healthy and what's not. So I'm so excited to get into that. But first, I'd love to hear a little bit more about your story because honestly, really pretty amazing. Like you were in a Thai refugee camp and then, grew up in California, decided to build this vegan beauty brand. Like tell us a little bit about you.
My gosh, yes. So I was born and raised in Vietnam, and we were the boat people. So during the 70s, after the fall of Saigon, that was a really interesting part of my life. And my strength comes from my mother. She basically escaped Vietnam with 6 children on a boat.
Wow.
My youngest sister was 2. My oldest brother was 16. And we ended up living in a refugee camp for almost a year before we got sponsored to Canada because we couldn't get to the U.S. And we came to Canada in 1980. There were not a lot of Asians. There were not a lot of Vietnamese that living in the little town, and there was no program. So could you imagine the culture shocked? And this is where the resilience really came in. But I was so grateful to establish and to be in the Western world, living in Canada. And then 85, I moved to California with my mom.
Oh, wow. Okay. Amazing. That's quite the story. And just the resilience and strength of your mom to move 6 kids, out of Vietnam. It's pretty amazing, when you think about, what you all went through. It really is.
Yeah.
And so then here you are today and, really building a vegan beauty brand, but a Korean beauty brand. I'm excited to talk a little bit about Korean beauty too, because I feel like that is also like a buzzword within the beauty space these days. And I don't really know much about it. I just know that I feel like so many people talk about these Korean beauty products that work. And, so let's talk about what your path was to really, why did you want to create a beauty brand?
I did not woke up one day and said, I want to start a beauty brand. It was like, I broke out a lot when I was 15. I had cystic acne. Cystic acne is really deep skin inflammation that is really, really painful. So in 1985, I didn't know, went through the whole gambit of birth control, and I got on Accutane, which really messed up my system. And then I was using all these creams that were just really harsh on my skin. And it was something that I managed from 15 to 27. Didn't really understood it, was super frustrated. Anything I put on my skin, I broke out. But there was such lack information about ingredients. And I really felt helpless. Besides feeling helpless, Crissy, I felt ugly. No matter
Yeah,
like
of
what I put on
course.
my skin, I felt really ugly. And so one day, but I met an esthetician. She changed my life. Like she said, I can help you. And I was so jaded at the point. I was going, no way, you can't help me. Like dermatologists can't
Yeah,
help me. How can you help me? And she said, if you listen to everything I say, I'm going to help you get really great skin. And nobody ever told me that before. So I go to
love
her.
that.
Anyone with acne facial, this is not a relaxing spa facial, especially
Yeah,
cystic.
yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah. And so literally I come in there, I get this facial and she used a lancet. She has to break the skin. She has to squeeze things out. And after I'm done, like she's zapping and I put Neosporin on my face because sometimes it gets infected. But for about 2, 3 weeks, my skin looked great. And
Wow.
guess what happened? I break out again. And for 3, 4 months, I'm like, listen, what is going on? And she said, well, I don't know what you put on your face when you leave here. And so I'm like, well, can you? And she said, well, yeah, I can. And that literally blew my mind because no one ever said, yes, I know what you can put on your skin.
Yeah.
And she showed me a comedogenic list, and I didn't even know what that is. I'm like, what is that? And she said, well, this is a list of ingredients that's going to clog your pores and it's going to cause you to break out if you have really sensitive skin. And the comedones, you can find it on YouTube right now and on the internet. But anything that's rank 0 is doesn't cause you to break out. Anything rank in a 5 is definitely going to cause you to break out, clog your
Yeah.
pores. Anything in a 3, it's like a medium, but in higher concentration, is going to break you out. So women like myself who have like really sensitive skin, but also have an acne skin, I can't just put anything on my face. And then I start calling companies. And I'm like, listen, in the 90s, I don't know if you remember, hypoallergenic.
Yeah. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, hypoallergenic was the thing. And I'm like, listen, if it says hypoallergenic, like, why is it breaking me out?
Right.
100 phone calls. I was pissed. I was frustrated. And I was, frankly, it was like, this is not acceptable. And then I
Yeah.
ended up talking to a chemist from Merck, which is the cosmetic division, which is a pharmaceutical company. And he said, hey, I can send you these pigments. And I'm like, Phil, I'm not a chemist. I don't know how to do this.
Yeah.
Then he said, well, let me put you in touch with someone, like with a formulator in California. And this is where I learned the power of yes.
Yeah.
And even though I didn't think I could do it, I just yes anyway, send it to me. And then later on, we'll talk about the power of no.
Love it.
And that's how I went into this kind of like rabbit hole. And then I wanted just to create like one foundation that didn't break me out because I was in the fashion business. And for me, like to have my acne cover up was really important. And it has
Yeah.
like natural sunscreen in it. And so how I started my business was going through a divorce, okay? Had 2 young children. They were like 3 and 5 at the time. And I was living in a little apartment. But I had this thing and I'm like, you know what? There's people out there that needs product like this. So I was in fashion and merchandising. I put a little display together and I went cold calling.
Wow.
And the first day I called on 6 stores, I opened 5 stores, and that's how Emani was born.
Wow. That is so cool. And what did you start with? One product?
I started with one product, and basically it's just powder pigments. Powder pigments are like inert. So like our Crush foundation is still in our line till this day. And it's because it doesn't have any parabens. It doesn't have junk. It doesn't have talc. It doesn't have any of the stuff that would, clog your pores.
Yeah.
Esthetician can use this after waxing, after a facial. And because chemical sunscreen breaks me out as well.
Yeah. Absolutely. And there are, so what for sunscreen, are you using like a physical barrier, like a zinc oxide?
Yep. Zinc
Yeah.
oxide, we included in all of our foundations. Zinc oxide, titanium dioxide, mica, and iron oxide is what give you color because zinc and titanium dioxide is kind of like a white base. And then you have to
Yeah.
add in iron oxide and mica, to give you that color to mimic that looks like your skin. And I don't like
Yeah.
I don't like to look like I'm wearing my foundation, you know. I want my skin to look
Yeah.
like skin.
Absolutely. So tell me about what you discovered too, because, just between like American beauty products and maybe like what is marketed as Korean beauty products or something like that, or clean beauty products, because, you do hear a lot about, oh, this product is clean, or you go to Sephora and you see that they have like a clean check mark. But what I've heard is that you can't really trust that so much because they, even though they're saying it's quote unquote clean, it still has a lot of products in there that really aren't clean or good for you. And as we can imagine, you walk in Sephora, there's like a million products. So it makes it really difficult for women and young women to decide what they should be buying. But when you were going through all of this, what did you discover about American beauty products versus Korean beauty products, or something that you're making that you know exactly what the ingredients are?
Yeah. So Emani started as makeup, right? So foundation,
Right.
blushes, eyeshadows, and things like that. But then a little thing called COVID happened where women stopped wearing makeup.
Yeah.
But but 5 years prior to that, we have our customer was like, "Hey, what do you use for skincare?" And I said, I've been working on skincare for a long time. And to be honest, like all the natural ingredients, like all these natural oils and waxes and things like that, it's really great to condition your skin. But when you're over 35, you want something more than just, making your skin moisturize, right? You want kind
Yeah.
of like brightness, firmness, and all of these good things that go with it. And brightening that is safe. And so we spent years trying to figure out what worked, and it didn't work. And this is about 8 or 10 years ago, where K-beauty was like coming onto the scene. And I'm like, okay, let's go talk to like the K-beauty. And they have really incredible technology. The issue that I have with K-beauty is that what you just said is that there are so many ingredients. And secondly, one of the worst culprit that's going to cause you to break out is fragrance.
Yeah.
Almost, I would say 99.9% of the K-beauty have fragrance because they want to have that experience. But fragrances in cosmetics has like 26 different allergens that's going to break you out. And I don't want all that junk. I don't want all that junk in my skin. And so K-beauty got the technology. And so I went to Korea and I talked to all these chemists and I talked to all these labs. And the language barrier was real because I'm Vietnamese.
Yeah.
And they,
Yeah.
because they're like, oh, you guys are
Not
all
Korean.
Asian. I am not
Yeah. Yeah.
Korean.
Right.
And
Right.
so imagine the language barrier was real. And talking about clean beauty, because I'm like, look, I don't want parabens. I don't want mineral oils. I don't want fragrances. And they're like, what? Well, but these formulas are really working and this and this and that. And so there was a very heavy debated argument when we were trying to develop our skincare. And
Okay.
once again, like the first time, right? I started talking to a whole bunch of people. I said, hey, can we do this without this? Can we make this without this? And only one lab that I met. And they said, Michelle, I said, tell me about your technology. What makes it so really unique? And she's like, oh, did you know we own 13 patents? And I'm like, okay, tell me more. And they
Yeah.
said the patents are to process raw materials and break them down, simple molecules, into finer molecules and make it more bioavailable. So meaning like ginseng, right? It's 200 parts per million through their process, right? It can break it down to anywhere from 2,000 parts to 5,000 parts per million. It depends on what we want it to do. What that means is when you put it on, it absorbs really fast and it's going to deliver nutrients where your skin is needed.
Yeah. That's awesome. It's amazing technology.
It's amazing technology. And coming back to the question, it's like, okay, what do you do if you're just a consumer? I go to Sephora and I go to Ulta and I'm like so overwhelmed and I am
Overwhelmed.
I'm in the industry. So when I was thinking about skincare, I'm like, okay, what is really important? What are like the KPIs? What is really important in skincare? So
Right.
I came with the 3 Ps. The first is potency. what is the percentage of the active ingredients is in the serum or in the moisturizer that you're about to buy, right?
Okay, I'm sorry. Hold on. My thing paused and glitched right after you said the three P's. So I'm not sure what happened. We can edit it, but I don't want to miss the three P's. I'm like on the edge of my seat here. I'm like, oh no. Okay. So what are the three P's?
So the three P's when you're evaluating a skincare is potency, right? First P is potency. The percentages of what the active ingredients that they are claiming, right? Yeah. In the product that is going to change your skin. Too little is not going to do anything, and too much is going to cause you skin irritation. Right now, let's talk about vitamin C. Everyone is obsessed with vitamin C.
Obsessed.
Right?
Everyone is obsessed with vitamin C. Absolutely.
Yeah, so like if they put in 1% vitamin C or 2% vitamin C, it's not really going to work. But if they put in 20% vitamin C concentrate, it's going to cause your skin to irritate. So
we need to find a happy medium.
What we found is the happy medium is at 9% to 10%. That is going to give you the results that you want, but it's not going to irritate your skin. So I'm all about skin comfort. And if you're looking to spend like $80 or $300 on a serum or a moisturizer, you should reach out to their customer service and say, hey, what is exactly in your product? What am I paying for? I don't want to pay for packaging and I don't want to pay for marketing. Okay, so that's the first P. Second P is penetration. How are they going to deliver those nutrients into your skin? And this is where the Korean science technology comes in, is that they break it down to smaller molecules. And if you read anything on ingredients, it'll tell you ppm, which is parts per million. And that's really important. So read about the parts per million. And the third P, has it been proven, right? It's great to have any kind of clinical testing, consumer testing, but also like just real authentic customer reviews. Like for Emani, is that we don't pay any influencers to create our product. We use real women with real problems.
That's awesome. It's amazing. It really is, especially in a world of influencers selling us everything. That's amazing. So you mentioned vitamin C. Like we said, everyone's obsessed with vitamin C. Vitamin C helps with what? Brightness?
Brightness, collagen, texture, and everything else. But there are so many other ingredients. It was so funny. Yeah. I remember somebody was asking me, so what are some of the trending ingredients you're working with? I'm like, I don't work on trends.
Yeah, okay. My question wasn't going to be trending ingredients. My question was going to be like, what do you think are some of the core must-have ingredients? Like we talked, you mentioned vitamin C. What else, especially for women in midlife, like for our anti-aging skincare, like what is it that we need to be using in our skincare?
Okay, I love probiotics, right? We hear a lot of like,
a new one.
Yeah, like microbiome, because I'm like, when my first microbiome, I'm like, okay, what is microbiome? Basically, it's actually healthy bacteria that is like the bodyguards for your skin, right? And so the microbiome keeps your layers super healthy. And why do you want it? Is because it slows down aging. So when your microbiome is compromised, and you notice like your skin will be red, your skin will be irritated, and then you see fine lines like a lot more faster. And so microbiome is really interesting. And this is why you want to avoid over-exfoliation, because it feels so good to exfoliate, but if you exfoliate, you're going to damage your skin barrier. If you use, everyone also love Retin-A. Retin-A is really great, but overuse it, you're going to thin out your skin and you're going to compromise that. So it looks really great. So those things are great, but you have to make sure that you are following instruction and you have post-care. Okay, probiotics is really great. Like we have what I call the sleep and renew, and we're doing like 0% water. Like most of the serums and moisturizer could contain up to 80-90% water. And I'm like, if I was a consumer, I want something that's a little bit more effective than just paying for water in a fancy bottle.
Yeah, exactly. For sure.
So we create, I'm like, why don't I just flip the script? And then we put in 85% probiotics from lactobacillus. And then we add in apple, papaya, niacinamide. And it's really sheer. It's kind of liquid it's in. It's called Sleep and Renew because I know that, you have to get a decent amount of sleep. So when I'm sleeping, I want my skin to like repair and regenerate. So that's a reason why that I create that. So the probiotic lactobacillus is really important. So take a look at like probiotic serums and just figuring out what the percentage is at. And they're pretty safe. So I like that quite a bit.
I love that. I have not heard, I mean, it makes so much sense, right? Because like you're talking about the microbiome. I mean, gut health is everything. And a lot of times when your gut, you have like dysbiosis and imbalances in your gut, it does show up on your skin. So it makes so much sense that probiotics would help your skin and to help the integrity of that skin barrier. But I don't know why. I've never heard of probiotics in skincare. So I love that. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Makes so much sense.
It makes so much sense, right? And I love that you talked about like probiotics for gut health because, all the years of stress, because I thought, from operating from, what is it, fight or flight was my superpower. Okay. Because it was adrenaline, but it was terrible for my body. Totally. And I have like the worst, how should I say, digestion.
Yeah.
And nobody talk about, I don't want to say it, but what was it? Constipation after you turn 50. It's real.
Absolutely.
And so I take probiotics every day. I take digestive enzyme with lunch and dinner now because that really helps me. Just those little things. And then, probiotic for your skin makes total sense.
Absolutely. I love that. That product sounds amazing. Okay. What else? What else is not to miss that we need? Not
to miss is that now that you have healthy barrier and things like that, and Sleep and Renew also help texture skin. So like if your skin is really texture and things like that, and if you have really large pores, it's going to help to tighten and, kind of silky, give your skin that silkiness. And the second thing that's really important is like, okay, how do I build collagen? Okay. Collagen is usually second, third layer, and it gives your skin that beautiful glossy finish. But regular collagen, the molecules are too big to absorb into your skin. So we thought, okay, what can we do to promote collagen building? So we got to go find ingredients that build collagen, right? So we found a yeast. It's called Saccharomyces, right? So SK2, that's what they do. They're saying from rice, right? And so we take a look at this yeast, and then we ferment it, and it's a collagen builder, and we put in 15.75%. So it's really high concentration, and it's in the Halo vegan collagen, right? So when you use it with the Sleep and Renew, so one helps to strengthen the bottom part microbiome. The second one is going to go build collagen and give your skin that beautiful glossy finish. Especially after 50, I noticed that I was getting combination, and then my cheeks were really dry and around my mouth were really dry. And it made me look older than I really am,
Yeah. And the collagen, I mean, when you lose collagen, as we're watching ourselves on video, I'm like, but like when you lose collagen, everything just starts to droop and fall. So anything that we can do to help repair that like scaffolding underneath our skin and, build more collagen is something that we all need, especially after 50.
I also recently discovered lymphatic massage.
Yeah. Lymphatic massage and gua sha. Do you do gua sha?
I don't do gua sha. I use my hands because for me, like, I feel like when I was using gua sha, I would have to do an oil just to create that, that texture because it was like kind of scraping my skin, that slide.
Yeah.
And then I felt like, in Korean beauty, they do a lot of patting, right? Instead of like pulling, right?
Okay.
And so for me, it's like, okay, how do I be gentle, but then also just kind of like enough to move the lymphatic. And the lymphatic lymph nodes are really like on top of your skin. You don't need like a lot of force. And I do this like at night when I wash my face, and SLS free, of course. We have a really cool soft cloud cleanser.
Okay.
That if you wear a lot of like silicone based sunscreen, this is going to help to remove that without stripping your skin, right? But when I apply the serum, I take like an extra like minute just to kind of all over my face, kind of like this on my eyes, because I get puffiness underneath, and then also on my neck and my chest and the back of my hands. And that's like my nighttime, and morning routine.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so smart because a lot of people, a lot of women I talk to about beauty too, they will put the serum, they'll wash their face and put the serums and everything and the creams on their face, but they don't even go down into their neck. And it's so important to do the face, do the neck, do the chest. And I love that you mentioned the back of your hands because I do that as well. Right. I mean, it's the back of our hands is such a source of aging. And I try to remember to do a little extra on my hands at night when I'm putting on my serums because I think it's so important.
Yeah,
But even just as much as you can, right? Just getting down there and doing it.
my God, one of my biggest secrets that I love is actually behind the ears and just doing that V shape. And I just kind of do that because I'm on the computer a lot. So like my traps are super tight and all of these things.
So good.
And it feels so good just to open all of that up and then kind of like tap the drain, which is like on the collarbone and then underneath your arms, because I was like getting flabby arms and I was getting all the liquids.
Well, it's again, it's just helping to move everything through and just these little simple steps that we can do for ourselves at night or in the morning, like you said, really helps the drainage, help it all kind of come out, which helps with depuffing, the lymphatic drainage, all of it. I mean, I don't know what happens in mid-age, but we wake up as women and it's like all of a sudden we just have this like puffiness under our eyes. So anything we can do, but it does start with like kind of helping it drain down from your neck.
Yeah. Yeah. And then drink lots of water. And I have a hack for water. I actually put a little Mio sweet tea.
Yeah.
In my water, I mean, I am never without this 32-ounce bottle. And I try to do anywhere from 4 to 6 bottles a day. So I know like how much I'm tracking because it's 32 ounce. So I try to drink at least 100 to like 120 a day.
Yeah, it's so important.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you don't like straight water, like you said, you can put in something that you like a little bit of Mio. I use Thorn electrolytes. I put them in and I like kind of spread them out throughout my water bottles. I don't dump it all in one.
Yeah.
I like spread it out so that it, you're tasting flavored water all day and at least you're getting it into your body. Because I mean, our skin reacts it reacts so much to how much water we have in our body, our hydration.
And sleep and stress. And, I think learning and understand my mind a little bit, it really helped me because being healthy, it starts up here because I was like, that's like the largest organ.
Yeah. Well, tell me a little bit more about that. What do you mean? So explain, like, how were you able to understand your mind a little bit more?
Okay. So, I had this yearning and desire about like a different life. I was 28, going through my first divorce with a narcissist, right?
Yeah.
And I was really miserable, and I thought I learned my lesson. And then I remarried another narcissist at 35, and I was like, oh my gosh. And my life was really stressful. I always knew there's another me. Like I was living in my shadow self. I wasn't living my best life, but I was so busy struggling with families and raising kids. I didn't have enough time. And only with, I think maturity and when my kids were grown, I had a little bit more time to myself. But then now I'm like, okay, if someone had told me to pay attention and have living life with more awareness, it would change like my day and it would change my life, I would have not believed it because when my girlfriend was talking about a gratitude practice 3 years ago, I literally roll my eyes at her. I'm like, I try gratitude and it doesn't really work. And about during COVID, we had a 60% drop in our business, like most businesses.
Yeah.
In 2020, and then 21, it didn't get any better in 22, and I was like, we're still trying to recover. And as a entrepreneur, and you've been doing this for so long, Crissy, I'm like, and then over my 50s, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm over 50. The best years were behind me. That was the kind of mindset that I was waking up to every day.
Yeah.
It's so disempowering.
It is disempowering. And do you think some of that had to do with maybe just some midlife perimenopausal/menopausal symptoms that you were experiencing? I mean, it happened to coincide with COVID, it sounds like for you, but it also sounds like that's when you were turning 50 and had some, so do you think that there were some things that were changing in your body physically, mentally, emotionally, that could have been perimenopausal related?
Absolutely. I'm in post-menopause, so 2020, I was in menopause, and so everything was compounded. My body was going through changes. My business was going through changes. My mindset was going changes. I was also going through a little depression, and I didn't even know. And that, with the mindset, just kind of amplify everything. Where I felt really heavy, and I woke up, and I'm just like tired and everything else. Until I read a book called it's Michael Singer called Untethered Soul.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah, and he talks about the roommate in your head, and I'm like, because I was like, okay. And if you pay attention to how you talk to yourself, right? And I was like, wow, my roommate, it's nuts. My roommate is a big bee.
Yeah, exactly. Totally. And a crazy bee.
A crazy bee.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how do I let her? I'm like, if she was a real person, I wouldn't want to be friends with her.
Yeah.
And it started with that. It started with that awareness, is understanding my thoughts. And I realized that she was talking all the time. She was narrating all the time. She was so judgmental. And I'm going, wow. And then awareness, then I just kind of like, okay, I said, these are just thoughts, and thoughts are not reality. And one of the practice is that when I have these thoughts coming, I just watch it pass through my peripheral, like in one ear, out the other. I literally watch it leaves my space.
Love that. Love that.
And my head, I call it the Zen garden. So I was like, I imagine my head is a Japanese Zen garden. And every day I make sure that no weeds are sprouting.
Oh, I love that too. It's a great analogy.
And that's
really
it.
Is. Yeah. Because, I think what you are describing and what you experienced and are experiencing, because I think, obviously once you know and you learn it, you can't unlearn it, and you hear the voices. But I do think, so, a lot of women that I work with, women in midlife, the voice changes. Like the roommate, I don't know if a new roommate moves in, and it's like, where did this roommate come from? And I think that struggle is real for a lot of women. And I'm not sure why a new roommate moves in. I don't know why we listen to her.
Yeah.
But I do think it's very common. And I think, but what you said, just sort of recognizing it, letting it pass, understanding that they're just thoughts. We do not have to own them. We can let them pass, see them pass. And I love the idea of thinking of your brain and your head as a Zen garden, and, really moving past all those thoughts, because it's not easy. It's not easy. And I think those thoughts are what lead a lot of women to this midlife, perimenopausal, menopausal state of depression or anxiety or panic attacks, or, these states that they don't normally feel. And then all of a sudden perimenopause hits and they start feeling them.
Yeah, like absolutely. Mindset is really everything. And
It is.
I went to a Chip Connolly event, and he was talking about like the midlife starts at 50 and it
Yeah,
goes to
right.
70. Like it's not like it doesn't start because I'm thinking midlife start at 40, right? And then it
Right.
goes, and he's like, no, no, midlife is like in the 50s. So if you're in your 40s and 50s right now, like just kind of embrace that. Because for the longest time, I was like, God, I'm effing old. I'm
Yeah,
like,
right. You start to feel that way because you do, like, because your body is sort of betraying you in a lot of different ways. So it does make you feel that way. But at the same time, you're also like, wait, I'm 50. Like, I feel great. Like, I mean, I want to feel great. Like
yeah.
I'm good. But there's like a lot going on in your brain and your body that's telling you that you're not good. So I do think it's so much mindset that we need to work on during this
Yeah.
time.
So that's a first book that really helped me.
Okay. Love that.
Second book was The Art of Living, and he is a Vietnamese Zen master. He's a Vietnamese
Okay.
monk. And I'm more like an audio learner, so I don't really read. I put on audibles, and then I
Huh.
just put on my headphones. I drive, I listen to it. So that is really great because it kind of really dive into um, a philosophy. Now, Buddhism is not a religion, it's actually a way of life, it's a teaching.
Yeah.
And so uh, for me, there were some practicalities in it. And then the third book that really pushed me towards this mental health is Don't Believe Everything You Think by
I love
Joseph
that.
Nguyen.
Okay. Very true.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah. So that's like the first three books I start with. And then I found Louise Hay.
Yeah, I love Louise Hay.
So within she's at 30 days she's going to rewire your brain, right? Because
Yeah,
our brain loves to fall into the old patterns because
it
that's what
does.
comfort, that's easy, right? And so every morning I wake up, I got my little whole system. I got a little LED
Love it. Tell
pad.
us, tell us the system. I love it.
I got this little LED pad on Amazon for like $39. I wrapped it around my knees because I have pseudo gout. Then after that, I put it on the top of my shoulder blades. And while I'm in bed listening to Louise Hay, I'm giving myself a lymphatic massage. And that's how I wake up. That's my 30 minutes of power if you have it. If you don't have 30 minutes, do it for 10 minutes or do it before you go to bed
Yeah,
because it's going to change because that's part of like self-care and self-love.
absolutely.
It,
Absolutely. And what a beautiful way to wake up every day, right? If you start your day in that space of self-love and taking care of yourself and wellness, you're setting yourself up for the most amazing day ahead.
Absolutely. How you wake up is going to change your day.
Yeah, I love that. So you spend an extra 30 minutes in bed doing the LED, like red light therapy, lymphatic drainage, and listening to Louise Hay.
Yeah, that's every day.
That's
And
awesome.
I started in December because I had a little AM routine, but it was inconsistent.
Yep.
And then I was like, kind of like going in and out of my mood, right? And I'm like, how can I make this? And then she said, listen to it 30 days. And now I listen to her now. So now we're in June, so about 6 months.
Yeah.
And I listen to her probably 90% of my day, right? Um, and it literally rewire my brain. Now, instead of looking for problems, I'm looking for kindness and I'm looking for love and then, looking for the goodness and
Yeah.
knowing that good things are coming because I was always anticipating like the worst thing. And I was worrying about things that I had no control about. And that was a really hard one to let go.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, especially in midlife, we're out of control of so many things. So we're trying so hard, gripping, holding so tightly on to control things, and that we just can't. So I love that. Is there a certain, do you just put her on like an audio book or do you listen to her on YouTube? I know she
I
has so many different,
Yeah.
tracks
I
and
listened to
books
her
and
on
everything.
YouTube.
Yeah.
I listened
That's
to her
what I thought.
YouTube, and my best
Yeah.
thing is that I put on headphones, and it helps me to really focus. Yeah.
Yeah, love that. And then you also talked about a little bit earlier about a gratitude practice, which I firmly believe in. Tell me a little bit what you do, how you do your practice of gratitude.
So my girlfriend was talking about gratitude, and she was telling me she's doing 10, 10, 10. That's how she wakes up, right? I don't. I tried journaling. It didn't work for me. I tried to write down three things that I was grateful for. And Crissy, I was so unimaginative. Okay. I would start.
I love it.
I'm like, I'm grateful for my health. I'm grateful for my family. I'm grateful for my business. And then the next day I was just like, grateful for my business, grateful for my kids, great. And then by the third day I was going, what
You're like,
the?
okay, yeah. What the heck? I'm done.
So I call YouTube University. It's based upon like what you want to watch, what you want to hear. So I'm like, okay, gratitude practice. And I found this thing, and you can find it. It's called 21-Day Gratitude Practice. And she goes, thank you for my bed. I'm like, oh my God, I do love my bed.
Yeah.
Thank you for hot showers. Thank you for music. Thank you for dance. Thank you for the water. And I'm like, wow. And listening to it for 21 days, it really changed. Now, every time I take a shower, a nice warm shower, I'm thinking, oh, wow, this is amazing.
Amazing. Yeah. Love it.
Amazing. Like tea and coffee. I'm like, wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
It's finding the extraordinary feelings in the mundane that we take for granted every day.
Yeah. Absolutely. I love that. Thank you for sharing that, because I think that is such a fun and special way to switch your mindset and to practice gratitude. It's so easy. It really is so easy once you train yourself to do it. And it really changes how you look at everything. Everything. Like you said, all of a sudden the ordinary becomes extraordinary. And why shouldn't it? Why shouldn't it? It's extraordinary that we're just here and that we wake up every day. So why shouldn't every day just be filled with everything extraordinary? That's amazing. Well, thank you for sharing all of that. I love talking about mindset and how we can control our own thoughts and how they can change our lives. So, okay, let's get back to beauty. Tell my listeners where they can find Emani's products.
Emani.com. EMANI.com. Yep. And then we're also on Amazon. So if you got Prime, gets to you in the same day.
I love it. Okay. And what is, for women in midlife, what would be the go-to product that you would suggest to try to start with? Like what is your favorite product for women in midlife? What would be the go-to starter?
Okay, the two that we talked about, which is the Sleep and Renew probiotics and the collagen, right? So those two are really critical. Okay. And then I like the cleanser that we have. It took us a long time to develop the cleanser because my skin is so sensitive that it gets dry really fast and it gets tight. So we use fermented sake, which is like a rice without SLS, and it's plant-based, and it has like a little bit of olive oil in it. So it cleanses without stripping. So I think that's really important. But that's all you really need is those three products, all right? And then moisturizer or sunscreen. Yeah.
What is SLS?
Okay. So that is is lauryl sulfate, and so sodium lauryl sulfate. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which
so
is
that's
harmful and not good for your skin.
Well, it's really connected to a lot of the ingredients connected. Now, there's been no scientific proof, but it can really affect your health, desensitizing your skin and things like that. So we use like a plant base instead of sodium lauryl sulfate.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah.
Something new today.
Yeah. And then also, like for your body wash, try to find things that are SLS free. When it comes to like body lotion, try to find natural fragrances. Go without mineral oil. Read the ingredients. It's so incredible, like how much like mineral oil, petrochemicals are, in the body care. Like we use so much body care for us, and we're exposing our body to so many chemicals, and we don't even know it because they wrapped it up in really pretty packaging.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I think especially when you're putting stuff all over your body, it's really important to know what is in that body cream.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's really important. Yeah, so and with the Emani, you got like 30 days. So you can get it. If it doesn't work for your skin type, contact us, ship us back. We'll issue you a full product refund. Like for me, building the company as a single mom, I was like the last person on the totem pole, meaning my kids came first. And then I
Of
was like the
course.
last person. So I want to make our products really affordable. I'm not trying to sell you a $300 system. It's literally like $100 or 120 for 3 different products that it's going to last you 6 months.
Yeah. That's amazing. Well, Michelle, thank you so much for sharing everything today. I loved hearing about Emani and, your journey into creating this amazing skincare brand. I'm excited to try some of the products because like I said, I mean, I'm not, I don't think I'm putting probiotics on my face. And I think probiotics are so important. I think our microbiomes are so important. I eat fermented foods. I mean, I'm making sure I'm really having a healthy gut so that my skin is healthy, but it makes sense to just be doing that as well. So, thank you so much for being here today. It was so wonderful to meet you. And thank you for sharing your story.
Thank you so much for having me here. It's an honor to share it.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. And guys, thank you for listening again this week to the Suburban Warrior podcast. We'll be back next week with another amazing Suburban Warrior. And in the meantime, be sure to check out suburbanwarriorpodcast.com where you can download free materials. You can sign up for the weekly newsletter so that every week we're delivered right into your inbox, the podcast episode with all of the highlights from that episode. Until next week, have a great week, guys.